You're now listening to Mushroom Man FM, where we play nothing but Invoked, Dogmatica, and Shadows. This ain't your Yugi Boomers station.
Are we ready?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Branded Boys. We made it. We kind of got cancelled last episode, but we were, who cares? Whee!
They said it was impossible, and here we are, episode 2. You can actually hear me this time. What a time to be alive.
I know, it's crazy. We got so much feedback. I just want to give a special shout out to all 50 viewers. It's not a lot, but for me, it is a lot. Don't mind the YouTube video playing in the background. I'm stupid.
That is 50 hours of collective time that we have wasted in this planet. So, we'll take those wins when we can get them.
Wow, you just dogged in the podcast as we began it. Fuck's sake.
So far, we're off to a great start. For those of you at home who can't see, his brow is well and truly furrowed as he works on getting this ready.
All right. So we got a couple of comments. So we got 50 views. We got a couple of likes. Thank you so much. I did want to point out a single comment we got from a person called Yay Slides. They said, "This guy sounds like he'd blow a big snot rocket onto your leg in 9th grade. 5 stars," and then proceeded to type out 4 stars.
That sounds like he's speaking from experience, actually, from the energy he put into that.
I have no idea who this person is. So
I mean, that makes it even better. Thank you. keep doing what you're doing. You're getting into his head. It's good.
I am already being bullied, and this is my first day on YouTube. I'm just a little baby boy. Please don't ash me. I want my branded fusion. We did get a couple of feedbacks, actual feedbacks this time. For the video portion, they did want more editing, so I will do the best I can. Hopefully we have fixed the audio. We got a mixer this time, so we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Brock, what do you have to say about that? Okay, thank you, Brock. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to talk more this episode. Last episode, I barely even talked.
He's not at his best when you put him on the spot or if you give him time to prepare.
Speaking of feedback, everyone loved the Reddit story. So usually I'm going to save this for the last, but I want to start off with this because it is so heinous, this one. It is so
You can't see
strange.
the single tear rolling down my cheek right now.
So, am I the arsehole for telling my brother he cannot stay with me over Christmas if he brings his prosthetic leg? This has been doing numbers on Reddit.
I'm already concerned, but I'm willing to be educated.
So, my younger brother has a prosthetic leg. I think it is creepy, and I have no idea where he got it. To be clear, my brother has 2 perfectly healthy legs still attached to his body. He wanted to stay with me rather than our parents while he's home for the holidays. I didn't think it was a big deal. All I said was that he could bring it in his luggage and not bring it out. He agreed, but then he backtracked on staying with me, as he said he found it unusual that I couldn't bring it out.
This is already so much worse than I thought it would be.
He called me after supper and asked if I could please stay with him, and I said we could. You could stay at my place as long as you put your prosthetic leg into a storage unit, and I get the keys. He said he won't do it.
Let's see how this gets worse.
I think he needs to go to therapy or medication, or both, or a girlfriend/boyfriend/dog/cat/hamster. Just not a fucking prosthetic leg.
This is how 80% of horror movies start, honestly.
I brought my prosthetic leg, and it was infected.
Do you want the actual answer to is he an asshole or not? Or...
I would love it.
Look, I've got 2 takes. I'd love...
He has 3 legs.
I'd love to, be the good boy of just, respect his choices and everything like last time. At the same time, though, if he wants a prosthetic leg that much, saws are not that expensive. Then he's got a valid reason. He's got a valid reason to carry it around.
I don't understand. I know he has a valid reason, but why? It doesn't make any sense.
People pick the stupidest hills to die on.
I guess, but I've never heard of something to this extent where it's just like, I need this leg. I need it.
It's his emotional support appendage, okay? It's in the legislation. It's in the law. He's entitled. You, sir, have no leg to stand on. I'm sorry. It was standing right there. Please.
Shut up.
Please.
No, it's it. You ruined it. Fuck you.
Please.
Crazy. we should talk about YuGiOh now. Oh, actually, Brock, do you think he's the arsehole for trying to bring in his prosthetic leg?
What are your honest and unfiltered opinions?
I think he's a weirdo.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah, okay, cool. I don't want it to be like, well, it's fine because it's not doing any harm. But dog, just go to therapy.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell.
I think the pensive silence that Brock had sort of is him sitting here like, I don't see a problem with this. Why is this a Reddit post?
I'm just kind of thinking to myself.
Brock is just tucking the 3 prosthetic legs that he owns into his closet.
I'm thinking like, what could it look like? Is it like, does it have like signatures all across it from like his friends, or is like, is she leaving out the fact that there's a pocket pussy where like you would actually put like the snub in? Like,
I feel like it's less weird if it's like a regular sized leg. If it's like a child prosthetic leg and it's like half a meter. That's really weird. Like, I don't like that.
That might be bad. That might be.
I was willing to accept an adult prosthetic leg.
It's got a kid's shoe on it, and you're like,
does he like dress it up? Does he like wrap it in a blanket? It's like,
yeah. Do you think he just kind of waves it around?
This is my leg.
Do you think he like puts it like at his gooch area so that he has technically 3 legs? Do you think he puts his foot in the foot?
I've got to be brutally honest. The thought did not cross my mind. No.
Oh, that was on my mind.
That was your first reaction.
Yes.
Yes.
I bet you for any amount of money, his go-to most annoying joke, like, we have this one YuGiOh player that when I say, could you please cut the deck, he goes, oh, I'll cut the deck, and then makes a sword motion. Like, it was funny the first time, and after a couple of times, I was like, okay, I get it. I bet you any money that he goes, oh, I'll put my foot up your ass, or like, if the sock was on the other foot, something to that.
I was gonna say the entire collection of foot-related puns, and that was the best you could come up with.
Wow, fuck
I'll
you.
I'll put my foot up your ass.
All right, I'll put my foot up your ass if you don't.
Hey, it came up. Nice.
I'll put my foot up your ass if you don't laugh at the jokes I pay you to laugh at.
I'm laughing. You don't pay me.
All right. I think we should talk about Phantom Nightmare. It's the upcoming TCG set. There's a lot of things to talk about this one. I guess we could start off with kind of the monster on the box. It's the YuBell stuff. Taking a look at it, stuff like Spirit of YuBell, the fusion monster. Spirit of the YuBell is just, I believe, a Neo Spirit reprint. It's not good. If it says, when a opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's special, you can take, I'm pretty sure they mean search. It says here you can take 1 spell trap from your deck that mentions YuBell and either add it to your hand or set it. Okay, that's not bad. It's still ashable. And just like YuBell, it can't be destroyed by battle, take no battle damage. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon a YuBell that is banished from your hand. That's like cool, but with the YuBell stuff from GX, it's not like it's going to do anything crazy. People know how to out YuBell since Duel Links. I really don't think that's going to do anything. Have you guys ever played against YuBell?
I was the guy who played YuBell for a hot minute.
Wow.
Like, when I decided that I was going to cause problems for my opponent and nothing else, I was like, yep, YuBell, go.
Wow, I want to make so many jokes, but there's a big poster in the room that we're recording this that says no more trans jokes. I've been banned from that. We've got a reprint here of some banned cards, or some cards that just came off the ban list, rather. The Grinder Golem reprint, retrain. My apologies. It's Grinder Golem in everything name and nothing
Grinder
else.
Golem and everything, ladies and gentlemen. Pick it up at your latest OTS store.
It's like, you look at it and go, oh, it's Grinder. No, it's not. It just special summons, you can really YuBell special summon it from the hand. It doesn't do anything good. Your opponent even gains life points, so it sucks in time. Samsara D Lotus is the retrain of Lotus. This one's actually pretty good. You contribute this card, special summon one Yubel from deck, whatever. During your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated while you control a Yubel monster, quick effect, you contribute this card. That effect becomes destroy one Yubel monster on the field. During your end phase, if you control Yubel and this card's in the graveyard, you can take this card and either add it to your hand or special summon it. You can only use each effect of Samsara Dealers once per turn. That end effect is genuinely kind of scary because it's just Treeborn from over and over again. And I can't wait to be playing Labyrinth, and it just became a control deck. I can't wait for people to turn it back into stun and start killing me with Terra Incarnate again.
It's a good little homage to the anime with all of these cards so far, but I won't interrupt you. Keep going.
We have I want to say the chase, the get of this set is Magicians of Bonds and Unity. Who would have guessed it's another Dark Magician esque card? Cannot be normal summon / set. Must be special summon from your hand while having 25 or more cards in your graveyard. While your opponent has 25 more cards in their graveyard, this card gains 2,500 attack and defense. I believe, this is the 0/0/0 card, and it only comes as the Starlight. I want to say it's not Starlight anymore. It's Quarter Century.
Quarter Century, yeah.
Quarter Century Secret or Quarter Century Rare?
Quarter Century Rare, I
Quarter Century
believe.
Rare.
Yeah.
This is it's the third one of this. I believe every different one has a different background. Like some has red. I think this one has green. I really don't. I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's kind of annoying that from Rise of the Duelist we got the cool Starlight. Now it's called a Century Rare. It was DD Crow for Rise of the Duelist. We had Stardust Dragon, which was a cool homage. Effect Veiler, which is a playable card. It got a bit weird towards the end with Mirror Jade, but at least like people were playing Mirror Jade.
I was gonna say, we're on a podcast called The Branded Boys, and you're gonna say it's weird to give Mirror Jade a non-structured deck print.
It's like it makes sense. I thought they would only do like cards from let's say 2014 below, but that's fine. At least they were all stylish and playable. Now it's just Dark Magician and Woman, and then it's like the same one. Like it's not
So much contempt in your voice.
Because it's like the 4th time they're reprinting this. Like what's the point? At the end of the day, you're gonna get all 12 or 9 of the sets and put them in a frame, and it's like, okay.
Because they're cool.
Okay, well.
It's true. And they're going to look really good in a binder, to be fair, if you get all of them lined up.
Also, we know a collector called Max.
Yes, we do. And
we're going to mention Max every time on this podcast.
Like, here's the thing. It's like Beetlejuice. We've got to keep bringing up his name until he appears in the doorway with his Dark Magician deck.
Cecilian.
I wanted to make that joke.
We actually want to go down to kind of the let's go to the good stuff later. Let's skip the kind of trash. Raid Raptor, New Orleanius, and Bloom Vulture. From what I can tell, these aren't really playable. These are just like, oh, okay. The White Sunfish and White Sardine.
White.
Can
that
be
was very necessary. Thank you.
Can be playable. They are good. It is more fish. More fish cards that actually are good. I guess you can play like Kragan control, but
shout out to the 3 people still playing Kragan.
Shout out to the 3 people.
Well, what's the video you showed me of a man showing a deck profile in the McDonald's tray thing?
Oh, I guess
you know this, yeah.
Back in 2017 when the Dinosaur Structure deck first came out, this was way before Animadorn Archosaur. The way to play the deck was with True King Lithosatchum to rip out your opponent's extra deck.
Yep.
Some mad lad bought 3 of them, put in a Norden because Norden was legal at the time. I think put in 1 Insta-Fusion to summon it or something, and won. He came top 64 in a YCS with 3 Dinosaur Structure decks. Look up Dinosaur Structure decks, by the way, because we're going to get into the Structure decks.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I'm on top of it.
His playmat was a McDonald's plastic tray, and he came top 64.
Just to verify, you don't mean a photo of a McDonald's tray. You mean he just brought in a plastic tray.
McDonald's tray, my friend.
Do you think God lives in heaven? Because he too fears his own creations.
And the worst part about it, and I love these people, but he speaks like he has an unfortunate handicap. Okay. And so that begs into question, are we just fodder for those who are truly meant to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh, those who are illiterate.
Do you want me to speak in like the voice how he was talking?
Yes, go ahead.
As long as you do it tastefully, please.
Wasn't it like his nose was blocked?
Hang on, I'll do it.
Okay, guys, so today we are playing 3 Tricking Lithosagem and 3 Solini.
And I went, I will never get top 64. I can only be a hater.
Okay, so he did sound like his nose was like
Yeah, his
blocked.
nose is completely...
Like, you would just block your nose and you would sound like this.
listen, what all degrees of autism on the spectrum, right? But it pains me to think that I'm not autistic enough.
I am autistic enough.
I know, because you came top 4.
It takes a certain quality, bro.
I'm a hater.
Look, I don't
can't
know how it
point.
happened, but it just did.
And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I hate my life.
I was gonna say, barring it away from like the comment on autism, just focusing purely on the voice. Of all the cards to say with such a lisp,
Right.
Lithosagem is probably the worst one.
You don't even know how. I don't even know how he pronounced the misc.
Miscellaneous or
Miscellaneous story. God knows how he did that.
context. I've not seen this video, and I will be looking it up after this. But I'm a little bit concerned, but ultimately just impressed.
Editing Ronan, can you throw in the clip of me being angry at the video? And I'm just like, why does he talk like that?
I feel like I should record like just our normal lives more often because we're just so stupid and just put it in the podcast.
You're not wrong. That would actually be fantastic.
This one's
Please,
gonna take so much
all
editing.
50 people watching this would be very interested.
Because
Sorry, all
because
25 people rewatching this twice will be very interested.
me and Ronan like kind of argue for the most stupidest shit ever.
Are we going to get into the oven door debacle?
I don't want to.
Don't worry. Listen, we got important stuff to talk about. The goblins. The goblins are here,
The
guys.
goblins are here, and this is a deck I will be playing.
We have Goblin Biker, Doug Charger, Goblin Biker, Clad Exploder, Goblin Biker, Boom Mark, and Goblin Biker, Mean Merciless. Wow, I've never been actually excited for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Look, this is my deck. This has. You can both attest to this. When I'm sitting at locals and people are doing some crackhead stuff or being idiots, what do I call them? I'm like, such a goblin.
Such a
Goblin. That's my word. It's a deck that can use Tour Guide.
Guy.
It's got Fiends. It's an XC's deck. Like, honestly, I've never felt so seen. I just need to say thank you, Konami. Thank you so
This
much.
might be the best thing to happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Since the Megatins have been announced.
It could
in
well be
2012.
the worst deck ever printed. I will still play this deck and make it work.
Do you think people are going to be angry that this will inspire another virtual world thing where morons on Reddit will be like, I'm not saying virtual world chincho. I'm not saying virtual world shit. This is stupid. I'm not a little kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not going to be
I
like,
sincerely hope not, because I hope we're not judging the bar based on Redditors. But you know,
yeah, okay. I'm not going to say Goblin Biker Dog Charger. What the fuck?
half the fun of that archetype is saying their names. Are you kidding?
You are not wrong.
What was one of them? Goblin Biker Ming the Merciless or whatever.
Yeah,
it was?
Mean Merciless. Unfortunately, we do have to get serious here. Snake Eyes Poplar is in this set, which means that as has
Fire
already
decks
happened,
are more consistent, yes.
Snake Eyes and then Labyrinth with the Ubel stuff. If you want to play that engine, it's very optional.
It is an ultra rare though. Am I correct? Like Populous is an ultra rare.
That was
I
a
believe
super.
it's
No, it's not a super.
yeah,
Is it not?
it's an
Oh, no.
ultra and a quarter
Yeah.
century.
Yeah, so that's a huge dub.
The rich get richer.
Several of the Yugi tubers that I follow on Twitter were all collectively just praying about Promethean Princess and Populous, just saying, please, for the love of God, don't make them both secrets. Our wallets can breathe easy.
It is,
Gentlemen, we did it.
slightly better. We're going into YCS Sydney. I don't know what to play because these are expensive.
That is actually probably an interesting conversation for when this inevitably derails away from the careful structure that you've planned, when we can just like spitball about decks, because I also have no idea.
Yeah. We have some Gertie stuff. I will say, as much as I memed on the whites, this fish pile, the Gertie fish pile, people have been, I've seen boards that are like Kraken, Toad, and a Synchro that draws a card. That's a board. I think eventually we will see a fish Aqua deck eventually get into the top 10.
It sort of, to go back to historical Yu-Gi-Oh, sort of takes me back to way back when, Melantian was a thing, and it was just water everywhere, and they were like, hey, Fire Fists. Hey, Fire King.
Oh
So
god.
We need a counterbalance of water. That's how elements work. You know?
The water fire format. I guess that makes sense. I would like that. We have
Do we really think Goatee is the deck to do it though?
maybe Goatee Super Heavy?
I feel like we're going too far down the crackhead den. Please continue.
Alright. We have Horus the Black Flame Deity, which isn't particularly good in a meta sense. But people really like Horus. It kind of has a cult following. Actually, I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else. This is a King Sarcophagus. What is it called?
You got it.
I'm
You got
not
it.
sure what you're trying
This
to
is a
say.
King Sarcophagus archetype card. You do have to control a Horus monster and King Sarcophagus. You can reveal this card in your hand and send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Then send one card from the field to the graveyard. If a face-up King Sarcophagus and or Horus monster, other than this card, the named card, you control leaves the field by opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can send all other monsters on field to the graveyard. That's fine.
Yeah.
It is.
Does
a
the
little
other
bit-
Horus name say the opponent must do it, or like just another card like getting sent? Because if it triggers your own Horus stuff, that's like pretty fucking good.
opponent's card effect, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I think it's a good card. I think it replaces Dwarmatef in most people's decks, like if they want to trim down, or it gives them an extra name. Like, I've got no complaints about that.
I think it's alright. I looked at Horus and obviously I really like it. It was, for some reason, the artwork slapped so hard back in 2005.
It's true.
Crazy.
They got the collective team of like really creative people, but they signed them all into like 3-year contracts and they'll just disappear
and then they
forever.
just. Why the. It's another discussion to have about why YuGiOh doesn't credit its artists like Pokemon does, but we do have the Voiceless Voice. It's the new. The retrain set, much like the Memento kind of stuff. I think it's. I want to say it's like Dogmatica, not just because it's focused on ritual, but because it's very expensive and has seen play, but not really top.
This is a deck I really want to investigate with.
Really.
Yeah.
I kind of too, but I always feel like in Ritual there is always a deck that pushes the limits, but it always falls short.
Well, we all know the best ritual deck was Necros.
Necros.
Yeah. And I feel like, okay, not nowhere near as that, but I feel like it would have kind of potential in some way like that.
So you've investigated this. What does the deck actually look to do?
I haven't looked too much into it, but I've been willing to. Like, I really want to learn like, how this deck runs.
From what I can tell, it is the same kind of vibe as the Dogmaticas, which is why I'm excited because I love Dogmatica.
For sure. Any opportunity for you to dip into your Maximus persona, we know you're going to take. He's aggressively nodding his head. It's very, very cute.
Ronan, can you change the picture from editor Ronan? Can you change the picture from Ronan Toad to Dogmatica Maximus on screen now? Thank
It's
you.
very important. There you go. No, I think Ritual is a very interesting, like, general mechanic to look into because it's always either going to be like the best deck in the room, or just why are you playing this? Like, I struggle very hard to think of like just a middling kind of Ritual deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing Ritual, if you set up on like table 2 and you're playing blue cards, your opponent is either going to laugh at you or just panic.
Yeah, it really is exactly that. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to be destroyed because of massive card advantage at a big ass tower monster like Drytron, like a Romephage Goliath.
Or it could be
Vanities.
Nouvelles, and you're
Yeah.
facing down a collector's rare
And
Hungry
it's
Burger,
just like, okay,
and
and
you just scoop out of respect.
that sometimes Dogmatic can do both in a match. We do have the Magispector Porcupine. I believe the link is somewhere down the line. The link is pretty good. It searches, I believe it's a Magispector and a Pendulum card. Whatever the case, it's a one-card combo with Bambuku. So it's another card to add to the Pendulum pile and forget about because who plays Pendulum?
I could tell you several people who are very upset at you right now.
Dire.
If he is listening right now, he's en route. You can't escape him.
He can't read. He can't click the link. Carnot the Eternal Machine is a card that people want to have been trying to tinker about, but unfortunately, it kind of only fulfills to be a really pretty quarter century rare to fill out the pack. We have another Goblin card. Emissary from the House of Wax might pique your interest, Byrnes.
I actually have looked into this card a little bit. Every time I see illusion printed on a card, I'm like, ooh, yes. Branded Chimera. Let's go.
He
It's
looks
good.
really cool.
He looks really cool. He looks really interesting. I don't think he's going to be played, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I really wanted to make him work, and I've seen some funny combo videos. You just got to think, like, how often do his effects come up? It's been a hot minute since I read. Can you reread what his effect does? Actually, it's completely. I think it has something to do with like during the battle phase, it just shuts everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use its effects of Emissary once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. At the end of your opponent's battle phase, you can make all attack position monsters your opponent currently controls unable to change their battle position. Being used as material for a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link summon, also have their effects negated until the start of their next battle phase.
Look, that's a crazy effect, but I think there are better quote unquote battle traps. And I think that the illusion toolbox already there's some good ones that people just aren't playing, or if you are playing them, they just sort of die in your hand. Like, you know, Tao the Enchanter came out, and for a long while I just didn't play it and didn't miss it. I think that, you know, whole big tangent. I think going down the line with illusion, there are going to be some really good cards that come out that do fit, but I think that there's just good enough cards where you don't have to play that card, you know?
I mean, it's a battle. It's a battle trap, and not only that, it has to be proactive. No one's gonna run into it, and even if that does, like, and then just because at what point are you just like, yeah, Drowning Mirror Force won't cut this.
Honestly,
Mirror Force won't
more
cut
than
this.
anything else, I can see it finding a home in stall decks and, you know, like Final
Yeah,
Countdown and stuff.
yeah.
It's not going to be played in an illusion archetype. It's similar to, like, you see random cards like Kiteroid get played on Duel Links. It's the same thing where it's like, hey, this never comes up except in this deck. I'm gonna make this work. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's its whole niche.
But I will say this does luckily add another card to my Beauty and the Beast deck that I've been working on. I know. So many people have been clamoring for Ronan. Where's the Aerial deck list? Where's the Sleeping Beauty deck list? One at a time, people.
Oh
Please.
man, Candle Illusion, Ghost Bell, and Haunted Mansion, and
And a bunch of Labyrinth
and any
cards.
beast.
And Alpha, yeah, Master of Beasts.
Alpha Master of Beasts.
That's the beast. Speaking of Masters of Beasts, the best card in this set is Master of Ham. This is probably the best card in this set. It requires 2 beast monsters. If this card is fusion summoned or flipped face up, you can special 1 flip monster from your hand or deck in face down defense position. If this card is in the graveyard, you can banish 2 flip monsters from your graveyard and or face up field, special summon this card in face down defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Master of Ham once per turn. Do I hear tier 0? This is crazy!
0 is not a low enough number, okay? Like, bro, like, I can see so much potential. I see Shadol, I see Tindangle, you know.
This is crazy!
The card's insane.
You can even use this in Tri-Brigades. You can use this in Sprite with a Nimble Engine. It just gets better.
It just gets better, no matter what. You use Poly. That's a simple 6-card combo.
You make Guardian Chimera, you activate Necrofusion, you make a Master of Oz, you are fucked if you're the opponent.
What? You don't even need flip summons. Just summon the cards.
Yeah, just die. You won't even get to flip summon because your opponent will see it in your extra deck when they rip it, and then be like, oh fuck, and then just
Can't wait for the intrepid viewers to just clip you just saying die and just
die. We have another white synchro, not like the card white, the archetype white. That's so annoying. Or a porpoise. This is a level 6, I believe. I think the deck has been actually wanting a good level 6. And I think Monosaurus is the one I'm thinking of, but it definitely didn't cut it since it's been so old. But I just taking a quick look at it, that and like Fish Lamp, I don't think they're going to be good enough. Fish Lamp, I do think is cool because it does summon 2 lamp tokens. And I'm sorry.
You have no right to say anything. You literally played Soul Scissors for a good 4 or 5 weeks.
No, it was like...
I love Soul Scissors.
Like 1 week.
But it felt like 4 or 5 weeks.
Get my kitchenware out of your goddamn mouth. I just... the Goblin Biker XYZ, which I was just about to say Goblin Biker Big Gangbang, but it's Big Gabonga.
I can see how you would have made that mistake.
Yu-Gi-Oh
players do not read.
I got very excited. I'm sorry. Goblin's Crazy Beast. I think the more I look at this set, the voiceless rituals, the more I look at the set, the more I'm like, oh, this is pretty solid, actually.
It is a solid list.
I think I want to kind of test this for like you can do this in Pokemon and Magic as well, it usually is, but just getting boxes of this and drafting them, you kind of come out with a deck, because all the singleton cards are at high rarity for Snake Eyes that already came out in previous sets, but the rest of these cards work well together. You get birds, fish, goblins, and the Yubel stuff sometimes.
I really rate that. Top of my head, like, absolutely getting the Goblin set, just because, as much as I meme, it looks really fun. And the Yubel engine. I've actually seen a lot of people experimenting with the Yubel engine with an Unchained deck. I have yet to actually test it. I do know that some of the actual cards have some synergy. They do have that card. I have it actually open here. I'm just going to open it.
While he's doing that, I just want to give a quick shout out to some other cards in here. Mutamorphosis is a card being experimentalized with. Materialization and Flock Together. And maybe the best named card ever, the Black Goat Laughs. And I think this comes in Quarter Secret or Quarter Century.
I'm picking up 3.
And I just want it in the shiniest thing. That just sounds cool.
It has Alaba's Mask on it. In case you haven't noticed, it's a branded lore card. I saw that and my little heart went so crazy.
Holy shit.
I require it. If anyone gets them, 3 QCRs.
Hell yeah.
I know 6 people at locals who are going to pull it immediately and come to me and say, hey, Matt, spend the money you don't have. Give it to me.
We also have Terrors of the After, which I actually didn't realize was in the set, but it seems pretty good. It's another normal trap, who would have guessed. Tag out one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to their field, then you can banish one monster they control, then return one of your opponent's banished monsters to the graveyard. So it is like a different Ice Dragon's Prison, but I think Overroot is still good enough.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. You can, it actually kind of works with King Backjack. You can banish this card, then tag a 1 level 1 monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then you can set a Terrors of the Overroot or Terrors of the Underroot. Or Terrors of the Afterroot itself directly from your deck, which actually might not be that bad. If you're experimenting with King Backjack, I don't think there'll be a possibility where you would wait enough time for King Backjack to still be in the graveyard. I don't see how you get 2 in there and be like, fuck, I could only activate 1. But still, I think this is cool.
Yes, I did find the card if anyone was curious. Apologies for my terrible bedside manner when it comes to looking up Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
How dare you?
Nightmare Pain. Specifically, like, all the Unchained players go nuts when you see Destroy on a card. But no, it's actually not bad if you play a small Yubel engine. It destroys a dark monster in hand or face up on field, adds a Yubel or a card that mentions it. Plus it has the generic, while you control a Yubel monster, all your opponent monsters must attack if able, and your opponent takes any battle damage that you would take from Yubel. So you have that small little engine. They're all fiends, so you can link them off as well. You can pop cards. When I first encountered this, it didn't feel all that funny, but then you think about the number of people who played the DDD engine for a generic pop and a fiend on field. And this feels like it does more, but also gives you just generic cards that can float into themselves. I don't know. I think there's something there. I don't know if it's going to be the route, but at this point, I think Unchained players just need something to hold on to. So
Yeah, they definitely do. Shout out to other cards like Convertible, which is the dumbest name. XYZ Force, which I believe is going to give us the term the banishment, or the banished, instead of just a card that is banished.
I think it was Banishment. I think it's
Banishment,
which is infinitely worse.
Yeah, honestly, I think they should have just kept it as it was.
I kind of liked the vagary of it, like we could live in denial that it's not a second graveyard, but now we kind of have to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, the graveyard since 2015 has been referred to as a second hand, so...
Oh, sorry, rulebook, the GY, my bad.
Oh, sorry,
Please continue.
sorry.
Please, Konami, do not do anything.
Brock, what do you have to say about that? Okay,
Exactly.
so... we do have one last card, Psychic Processor. Now, this card is crazy.
You're going to need to read this one for me, I'm not going to lie.
It's a level 3 Psychic. You can banish this card you control. That's cost. Special summon up to 2 Machine, Psychic, and or Cyburst monsters from your hand. And they can attack directly this turn. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished, you can add this banished card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Processor once per turn.
So E-Tele goes nuts here.
Holy shit. Oh man, I just added another Fenrir. Normal summon Psychic Processor, go a full Cyburst, Access Link Code combo, and now my Fenrir, there's 2 Fenrirs on field usually, and if not, there's at least one, and now it's guaranteed to connect and target something.
When are they going to learn that single monster that summons 2 monsters and gives them buff is a very good effect?
What the fuck is
It's
it?
very funny.
Machine Psychic and Cyburst? Fuck, just summon Jinzo.
Just summon Jinzo, exactly.
Oh my god. You're the smartest man alive.
Yeah, special summon Fenrir, add Fenrir, normal summon this, either add another Fenrir, Jinzo, or a Cyburst and go full combo. What the fuck?
Wasn't that a really good machine?
No, that's it.
Cyber Dragon.
Earth
I was
Machine,
gonna say Jinzo is the only good one. I'm sorry.
Cyber Dragon.
But my Cyber
You can
Dragon.
link off. I mean, if you don't have Underworld Goddess, what are you gonna do, right?
My Cyber Dragon.
Yeah, man. Maybe not. We do have the Ashen cards, but who cares? Mystic. Oh,
How dare you just skip over the action cards?
I'm so sorry.
As if I was not sitting there ready to link the fire a second time.
No,
Let's
no.
not.
It's everyone knows Bloodborne is better.
I agree inherently. That's an entire other debate to have on this entire podcast. But no, you get the Ashen cards. You get Bonfire, which is also a Dark Souls reference, and you pay more than all 3 games to play the deck.
I honestly don't think it's even related to Dark Souls. I just think it's another TCG exclusive that Konami just went, yeah, just make it dark and shit it out.
I'm choosing to believe it's Dark Souls. Don't take this away from me.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have 2 other cards, and I totally forgot. How could I? Hungry Burger Support Acceptedism. Mystic Potato. It's Mystic Tomato, but slightly better. And Ulti Meat Offering. If you thought Ultimate Offering was bad, they just got the original artwork for this and put it on Ulti Meat Offering. During your main phase, you can pay 1,000 life points. You can conduct up to 3 normal summons / sets this turn, not just one. It says not just one. During your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 500 life points. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 monster. Why? Why have they made Ultimate Offering but better? At least they put the original artwork on this time.
I know what you're all thinking. I can see it in your eyes. Keep that card out of your Flunder decks, please.
Please, I swear to
I
God.
can't cope.
Anyone who's listening to this, man, woman, child, deadbeat, stop.
I love how you were just reading my mind. I really was just thinking about that. I was
Get
like,
this
I was just
fucking
wondering.
card out of your deck and mouth.
It's inherently slow, and it's probably a brick in certain hands. But how disrespectful is it going to feel when you've survived, like you've weathered the onslaught?
God
like,
damn.
Ultimate?
I know some Labyrinth player's gonna cook with Reckless Greed, draw 4, not near the battle phase because all their cards recycle, then activate Ultimate Offering, and then normal summon a stun card.
Right here.
Oh,
Right
God.
here.
I can't. Oh, fucking. Are they gonna be normal summoning Alistair? Some bullshit like that.
Yeah, that's great. You can search Invocation on your opponent's
Inspector
turn.
Border. Yeah. It's gonna be Inspector
Don't even
Border.
mention Inspector Border.
And not only
it's
that,
so
they
much
don't
worse.
even lose because of Ultimate Offering or time because you just paid 3 million life points.
Can you
They're gonna
imagine-
lose because Inspector Border is too hard to read.
That's true. No, I was just imagining, like, can you just imagine, like, generic machine deck searching Spell Canceller and normal summoning it on your opponent's turn? That would be infinitely worse. Oh my god.
Yeah, let's not. Oh, dude. Psychic Processor. Normal
Okay.
summon it, then activate it. No.
These are the secret source strats for the sneak peeks. Just
Oh,
you guys when you
God.
pull both
This
of
set
these
is
cards.
maybe too good. I honestly think this set is better than Agov and Dune. That's for sure. It's just so well rounded. I didn't think it was
has
this good.
goblins in it. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it already is a B+, a B for biking goblins. Speaking of biking and goblins, that's not even related to what we're going to talk about.
I liked your confidence though.
Yeah. Structured X. I did want to talk about this because now that we have the 5 King Structure deck, and it has been proven to be very good. Shout out to the people that said, no, 5 Kings are going to be crazy after Phantom Nightmare. I don't care. Get Cosmic, idiot.
Another T-shirt waiting to be made.
God, that merch store is gonna be
Get
popping.
Cosmic Idiot.
Get Cosmic Idiot.
I know multiple people now that are literally maining Cosmic because of Fire King.
It's an insane card against that deck. It's an insane card in general. I think it's definitely worth the slot.
I've been saying it for years. Main at least one Cosmic. Back in the old days, even with Patrick Hoban, you would always play the one off MST. You would always play the one off Heavy Storm. I know it's Modern Yu-Gi-Oh now, but sometimes it's good to just be like, oh cool, I drew spell trap removal.
Okay, to be fair, this is not me like arguing, but people argument was always like, yeah, but Cosmic only gets rid of one and you're paying 1,000 for one. If you just pull, it's like just pulling a Harpy's Feather Dust. Like you're getting rid of everything instead.
Yeah, Cosmic is just, I couldn't find a word to describe how annoying it is when people think Cosmic is bad.
Yeah, you just pull a Lightning Storm or a Harpy's Feather Duster, draw phase, anti-spell. Ha,
Yeah,
idiot.
it is the best spell trap removal, and I think you should be running one of, depending on what your deck is. Let's talk about structure decks for a bit. Obviously, we know how good the Fire King structure deck is, but I want to talk about the 2023 structure decks that we have already had and what we might get, and what you guys actually either want or think is going to come. We have the Crimson King structure deck and the Trap Trick structure deck. I think the Crimson King structure deck exactly did two things, and that was give everyone a very funny Jack Atlas card and make King Calamity FTK slightly more present at tier 4. Sorry, a table 400 local events.
I think it's such a weird one to talk about because on the one hand, all of these decks saw play, right? Like we commented last week about how Trap Trick structure deck came out, everyone played it. Crimson King, even though people, a lot of people buy the structure decks and play them, the Crimson Gaia engine has been seen play in a lot of different decks. It definitely gets played. And of course, Fire King, best deck in the room. I don't know. It's sort of hard to project with structure decks. I was going over in preparation for this podcast all the different lists. It's really hard to predict because some years you get some incredible consistency. Like my first thought was 2008. You've got Zombie World. You've got Dark Emperor. Those were mint. And then right after that, you've got Warriors Strike and Spellcaster's Commands.
Yeah.
The good times.
You don't get another good one until 2011 when you've got Dark World and the Agent one. It's so... I feel like there's not... It's really hard to predict what they're going to put into a structure deck.
Yeah. I don't think we have the next structure deck coming up. But I believe if we're following the chain of the new structure decks and I believe if we're following the chain of new structure decks and then the old structure decks getting a reprint, that's the R series, I think we have a new one coming up. I kind of think this could be good for a number of things. I kind of want Spiral to kind of have a structure deck.
Okay.
I kind of want Thunder Dragons to have a structure deck. I think it's high in time Colossus come back.
I would love Thunder Dragons to have a structure deck.
Do you think any of the Albaz Law or even Visa might get a structure deck?
I don't think Visas. I think that those cards... So the Branded Law one came at a time when the cards they were just coming out, they were rolling them out. That was the sort of set that pulled them all together. As it stands, all of the Visas decks have had their time, they've all had a chance to come out, and they've all been reprinted quite a bit. We're getting Rarity Collection 2 reprinting all the field spells. I don't really know that Visas would get reprinted. I could honestly see potentially a World Legacy, because that would be really spicy, because you've got people playing Orchestra already, they've just brought back Harp, and I really like structure decks that tie together some lore, whether it's internal lore or lore from the anime or anything like that. And in preparation for this, I was thinking that you've got two ways you can do it. You can do the World Legacy, Orchestra kind of brand of things, or you can just go straight back into the Hidden Arsenal sets. You get a bunch of reprints for that coming up on the horizon. Shout out to the Infernoid cards that are going to come out, by the way. Those cards are insane.
I forgot about those.
But there's quite a few archetypes in that lore that both would be really fun to play and fill some holes in the lore. I feel like there's a lot of potential there.
I think the World Legacy would actually be crazy. They did just come out. We were just talking about all those flip cards. I'm sorry, but I'm still stuck on Master of Ham. Any cards, anything that makes that card playable.
The
I
inside
want to
of his
see that.
room is full of red yarn and like combo lines with Master.
I need it to be in a top 64 list. What do you think, Brock? About any structure deck shenanigans? You want a sprite structure deck, don't you?
No, I was kind of thinking more of a Tri-Brigade, but I don't know if that's already a thing or not.
No, it's not.
I was thinking of like maybe Tri-Brigade.
Technically, we have Mercury that came out in the Albaz one.
I don't think anyone's counting that as like
Yeah.
Tri-Brigade structure deck.
What if can we just get an Albaz 2? Just like a
Please.
sequel.
Please.
What
give me
about-
another one?
What about like Mermail or something?
Well, funny you say that. I believe the water one is the next structure deck to get a reprint on the list. After whatever new structure deck they're going to come out, I believe it is. Oh, actually, they skipped it. It went Dark World to Viking, but in the middle was all of 2012 structure decks, which is Dragons Collide, which I can guess why they didn't do that.
Do not touch those cards.
Yeah. Six Samurai, which they skipped, but honestly, with all the FTKs coming out with Six Samurai that they're known for, I can see why they skipped it, but Realm of the Sea Emperor they didn't do, which is crazy because that was the Atlantean Mermail one, and I'm really kind of befuddled with that.
It's weird, the cyclical nature of Yu-Gi-Oh currently. How a lot of the best things that are coming out are just mirroring what they did like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You can either say it's a loving homage, like nostalgia, or it's just lazy. You could go either way with it.
Technically, the next one on the horizon is Saga of Blue Eyes, which Konami just seems to love reprinting.
I was
and
going to say,
handing
they
out to
are
game stores.
reprinting that, aren't they?
They just keep reprinting it. We could skip up to the next year, which is 2014, which is crazy. The Gigia stuff, the Lights one, and the Cyber Dragon structure decks. Do you think any of those would actually be considered into Konami's peripheral vision of a structure deck release?
Give us another Gigia. Just give Earth Machine more tools.
Gigia, yeah, Mark IV. Shout out to Earth Machine. Shout out for doing nothing.
I missed that deck.
Earth Machine.
Yeah, it was a fun deck.
I guess we can get into stories. My first ever regional I went to when I met Byrnes over here. I played I tried. This was the one thing I was meant to do in my mind. And so round 1 I win, round 2, round 3. Round 4 I get up to, I'm 3-0. I sit across from a person who will come into another story. I'm sorry, my friend, but we do not have good stories together. I look at him and I go, oh, hey man, what's up? And he goes, mm-hmm. And so we start the duel. And he pulls out Earth Machine and I go, oh, my best friend at the time, this is his deck. I know how to beat it. And then I go, draws on the side. But that's fine, it's fine. I haven't drawn any hand traps this game, this entire format. I will draw hand traps. I have 9 of them in the main. I have 3 Ash, 3 Infib, 3 Nib. This was Tri-Brigade, Virtual World, Drytron format. So I think it's before Brock even started playing competitively.
I think you're right, yeah. He was not around at the time.
But I was like, you know what, this is fine. I will find hand traps. Didn't find them game 1. Didn't find my 15 hand traps game 2. I started in 3 Drolls and 3 extra effect veilers, and I did not see them.
That is the machine operating as intended, my friends.
And that is how I learned that no matter how fast you spin your wheels, those gears will always give you card advantage back.
It's so weird that whenever I feel like I play 15 hand traps, I never see any of them. But if I play only like 9 to 6, I just see them constantly.
It's the curse of the Yu-Gi-Oh player, unfortunately.
If I play one Cuckoo that commanded to Kroon, I will always see the Cuckoo that commanded to Kroon. That card is glued to my hand.
That's not just like efficient card math. That's a gift from God.
That's a dueling skill. I always thought I had a dueling skill called Give Nadir Servant to my hand when I need it. And it just popped up in my hand. Konami, please don't ban me. I'm not saying anything about rarity weights. Please.
That was a very interesting event, actually, meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, this was my first serious event coming back into the game after years. What was I playing? I was playing Unchained Kaiju. It wasn't even like the good version. I couldn't afford Prosperities. I was just sitting here saying, I'm going to resolve Slumber. I'm going to give you Monster. I am then going to link Monster away. I was not good at the game back then. I didn't know what I was doing. It put in some serious work that day, not gonna lie.
To be honest, I fucked up. And I'm pretty sure I gave you a wrong ruling and you lost because of it. and I went home that day, and I paid recompense by nearly falling asleep on the highway, going 100, and I went, I need to pull over.
It's crazy that after like all of those years, I'm now sitting in your room, almost like it's some kind of long con to get revenge or anything. But I'll let you think about that. That's okay.
Editor, can you put up the Crime Stoppers helpline, please? Yeah, I really like that format, actually. Do you guys have any stories? We'll start with you, Brock.
Like, what kind of stories are we talking about here?
Any stories that pop out into your mind?
When you think about things that people would be interested in, like what's the good brain dead like Brock experience?
I know the most recent one.
And what's that?
When someone got so mad at you for always having Fenrir, even though you had 3 copies of Fenrir and 2 of the Field Spell of Searcher, that they DM'd your best friend and said, he's cheating! And then we did a deck profile.
No, I'm only playing 3 Fenrir, and I saw it every single game that regional. And then Mike sends me a random screenshot. I'm just like, how did I cheat?
The dude is so pissed. He doesn't even DM Brock. He DMs his friend that came second, by the way.
There's only one thing worse than flaming, which is flaming by association.
Oh, I thought that was going to go in a way different. I thought you were going to be like, there's only one thing worse than flamingly gay. And I was like, you're bi.
You are the only one who was thinking this. My friend.
Comments, help.
I'll have you know I have a very real girlfriend. She's out there somewhere and she's probably listening to this disappointed.
You play YuGiOh. You don't lie on the podcast.
Savage.
Borderline savage. How about you, Byrnes? What you got?
Look, I've got that many stories, and all of them reflect me in a bad light because I half the time have no idea what I'm doing. No, half of the time, it's a branded story, and it's just me. No, actually, no. One of my favorite stories that is actually very entertaining is just I like counter traps. I like the spell speed of counter traps, and when you're trying to break a board, and I'm facing down a Sword Soul player right as the deck comes out. My opponent dropped a bunch of money on a bunch of booster boxes. They had the full deck. They were sitting at me with Shishao Baron board. And I know for a fact that this man's playing D-Barrier in his side deck. And I have a huge gamble where I'm sitting here like, I can normal summon my Albaz and fuse it off. He's not going to waste a Baron negate on this. He's going to chain D-Barrier. So I normal summon my little Albaz. And he activates his D-Barrier. And I chain my red reboot from hand.
Got him!
So not only did I stop that, I basically take his Baron out of the equation. The look on this man's face, because at this point I didn't have any kind of reputation as a player. I was still very new to the locals and I was still finding my craft. The look on this guy's face was like a 6-year-old from school walked in and just kicked his ass. It felt so good.
Fucking red reboot.
Do you want to hear something funnier?
Yeah, go ahead.
One time I normal drolled. I linked it off and another monster into the Wind Charmer.
Yeah.
I went Wind Charmer, target his Baron.
Yes.
And it was like,
give me.
Wait, can you do that? I'm like, yes, it's a wind.
I have done
so
that.
Funny.
In the brief period where I hated humanity and played Trap Eldritch, I'm sure other people did this, but I found it very funny. Play Imduck in your extra deck because it's a wind.
Oh, yeah.
So you can link the traps into Imduck, make wind, steal your Baron.
Yoink. I'm a Link Spider fan. Shout out to Link Spider. I do want to ask the audience, who here thinks Red Reboot should stay banned? Everyone has a different opinion on this card. It's like the most controversial card other than like Maxi.
That's tough for me. It really is.
I honestly have the opinion that it is fine for now. There will be a time when we have a good answer to normal traps, especially now that Labyrinth is tier 1. But I think it's kind of needed.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of good trap cards. I feel like there's not a good stance to take on this because if you take one of them, the other side is going to scream at you. I think it's just a card that feels good to resolve. It just feels really good.
Bam.
But like, I feel like it's an agenda. Like Konami really wants people to play traps.
Yeah.
Which you get as a company if you've got 3 kinds of cards and one of them just doesn't get played. It just feels bad. But I think against certain decks, especially if you lean on traps in any way, having a card that so inherently ends your turn that you can't respond to, I can totally see what people are saying.
Yeah.
Look, this is just me. They could bring back Red Reboot. All you just gotta see is Judgment when you set 5. That's all I'm saying.
I can't wait for locals. and the top 4 decks will be Eldritch, Labyrinth, Traptrix.
Ah, yes, my favorite duelist, Brock Draw the Out.
Brock, draw the
My
out.
favorite boy.
Brock Pratt McGee. What? We were discussing if we should play Cyframe, the link to, I believe it's a Lambda in Vanadium. and
Okay, I was cooking with that.
we are cooking.
I have been super polyed one too many times, and I'm trying to find a bridge that is not Little Knight that does not get immediately swept up by a super poly.
Players who are
was-
listening to this, is Lambda good? Yes, no. Thoughts?
I was far too tired to hit any
This
of this shit.
motherfucker over here says, I go, what if they have normal trap card and you're going second? You could play it with Lambda anyway. And this motherfucker goes, draw the out.
Yes!
It's his favorite thing to say. He thinks it makes him sound like a composed Yu-Gi-Oh player.
I'm
But it's just him being powerful.
It's a skill issue.
I'm gonna recreate Batman with your parents, and then I'll turn around and whip my stupid fat head around and go, just draw the out, bro. It'll be fine.
At what point does this cross the border into just being a crime?
Yes, playing Yu-Gi-Oh is a crime. Don't get me wrong. So anything else is just an add-on to the sentence, all right? You don't have a good defense to the judge saying, all right, well, on the case of you playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a year, you're sentenced to 2 years of probation, and you got to accept it.
I can just see your lawyer like whispering in your ear pensively, standing up at the stand. Your Honor, jury, fellow members of the court, Jane Colby.
Jane Colby! Your Honor, my bad. I thought the Teal Elements format was a good format. And then the judge immediately goes, order in my court! Order in my court!
Just insert like a low-res PNG of Saul Goodman. Just like, in my defense, Your Honor, he changed shifter.
Would it surprise you, Your Honor, that the good format is over there in the seats?
I remember this one person, this was when I was playing Branded, like, at the beginning of Darkwing Blast.
Okay.
So, I've got back
Why-
into the deck.
YCS Sydney format.
So, yeah, the structure deck came out, and then Darkwing Blast came out. I got back into the deck, and I went Ash. They called by it, and I go Branded Vision Ash. I'm like, okay. I still pick up my deck. He's like, I ashed it. I'm like, you called by it. And it's like,
I love that.
wait, what are you on about? I'm like, it says till the end of the next turn.
Read
He's like,
it.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, fucking card.
Pick it up.
And he denied it, and I was like, brother,
He denies
it says it right there.
No,
No.
It's crazy.
Are we still in the zone where we can share unfortunate stories? Because, I alluded to the fact that I have one that does not reflect well on me.
Yeah.
The angriest I've ever been at a top event.
Oh, this one.
This
looks
man
like-
is usually the calmest
this
man in
one
the
I enjoy.
world.
This is me happily playing Branded. The thing you always want to see as a Branded player is Branded Fusion called by the grave. You're ready to play the game.
You're like, I'm down.
My opponent has Shifter. He plays Shifter. I start playing Branded things. The second I activate Branded Fusion, he slams down the Ash, and I'm like, I have Cold by. But Ash isn't in the graveyard, is it? It's Tears were shed that day, and they were not all by me.
I'm still like curious why you didn't go shift the draw phase then.
Because I needed it for Ash. It was not a good day for me, okay? I was having a rough
That
time.
happens, and you look down the ground and go, no, this ain't it, Chief.
I could not have been more on autopilot. And like I said, my stories don't reflect well on me. In my head, I was like, he can shift or I can play under it. I just need to stop Ash.
Yikes.
I remember there was this one kid, right? He only just started, so he didn't know what an extra deck was or anything.
Oh, yeah.
But like, he knew what the cards were, he just didn't know where they went. So I remember just looking at him, his deck seemed like it was a 60 card deck. I asked him, I was like, how many cards is that? He said 50. I was like, okay. And he was like,
I know where this is going.
He summons Cyber Dragon. He summons like some other things. He goes, these two into like a Link monster. I was like,
From the hand?
yeah. And I was like, I'm looking around. I'm like, where did that come from? Sorry. He's like, I summoned it. And I was like, where from? Sorry. From my hand. I was like, oh no. How do I tell this kid?
Just gonna throw a whole round out at that point. Like,
You just give him the win.
No, after that, I have to give him a whole tour of like how that worked.
Wow.
I was bracing for Brock to see, like. So anyway, I totally destroyed him.
I annihilated his soul.
No, because you know Kobe, yeah.
I am very aware of.
We're gonna have to bleep that.
He also did the same thing. I was like, why didn't you link into the link to Cyber Dragon? He's like, because I didn't draw it. I was like, huh?
We say these things, but like at our locals in particular, there's quite a few young players, and
Me.
I have to give them a little shout out. Yes, you. Good job. I'm proud of you. How old are you? Like 62 years old? Yeah. No, like,
I have the Alzheimer's.
a lot of the younger kids are out here and like actually getting into the game and doing fairly well. You know, the guy we just talked about, he's actually out there playing against people, getting good results, which, as a guy who left the game in 2017 because he thought the game was dying, is really heartwarming to see. Like, I actually really like that.
This is a discussion we can have for an entire episode, but for the longest time, the main thing on my mind when talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is how is this going to continue? How do, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is notorious for having a high access or barrier to start with. And anytime someone new comes in, I go, how? You are either one of two people. You come in because of nostalgia and go, this isn't for me, like most people. Or you're someone who goes, I'm going to learn this no matter what. And those are the people that play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why us three are here in this room, because we're going to play this.
I was like that in tier format. Like, a lot of the good players and pro players were like, I hate this format so much. Like, we can't even play. Like, let's say I go first, your opponent is still playing. It's just complete bullshit. I don't like this format. And I was just like, I actually kind of liked it because it helped me improve a lot.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I won, it felt like an actual skill.
You gotta have a positive attitude when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh!
And community is such a big part of it too.
Yes.
Like, I got into this. I moved interstate during COVID. I had very little going for me at that time socially. And I had not played Yu-Gi-Oh! In years, and I decided to get back into it. And the first few locals I went to made me actively uncomfortable to be there, and it was awful. And
Wow.
in the event that we met at, which was the Good Games Extravaganza, was actually going to be my last event, because
Wow.
I was so miserable at the thought of, these are the people I'm going to be around. And then I go to this locals where everyone in there is just having a great time and they're all talking and having fun. I walk in, just this fresh-faced nobody, I don't know anyone, and I meet really great people who talk to me and engage with me. I sit across from this lovely gentleman in front of me, like
It's me, by the way.
right near the end of the game, like the end of the round. Neither of us are going to top or anything, but he's out here playing really well and trying his best. And I was worried he was going to be like another sweaty tryhard and all that kind of thing. But we actually had good interactions and he talked to me with respect. And I'm sitting there having no idea what I'm doing. And I don't know, I think community is just such a great thing for a game like this, just inherently.
There is a saying that in Magic, advanced is the gateway to, I think it's draft? Gateway, put the quote up on screen. Advanced is the gateway to sealed or structure or whatever. Something that isn't advanced. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is community is the gateway to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm here for the community. There have been plenty of times where I'm like, I don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! In person, but the people there are so cool. Like, I love when I play with my friends.
And Brock, you can attest to this as well. The energy of, us and the boys piling into a hot car, driving to a regional or driving to YCS, talking about our lists and cracking jokes. That's the fun of it for me. That's the real appeal.
I can completely agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think on my journey, I got really lucky because I started off with Duel Links, and it was the beginning of the 5Ds era. And so I was like, I picked up where I left off. It was easy for me, and I've got an attitude where I'm not going to quit. With it, something even if I loved it for 1 second at the beginning, I will never quit with it. But other people, we've seen heaps of people come and go from this locals. I've been at this local since 2019, and I've seen, this is the third friend rotation, by the way. Our group is the third iteration of it for me. Because before it was me, our friend Dyer, and like 6 other people. And then it was me, my friend Flynn, Dyer, and then a couple other people. And now, every year, sometimes you drives people away because the economics and the people can sometimes be bad. The card game is one of the most advanced and heartbreaking in the world. It wrecks your head. And this time of, not this time of year, but the year currently is 2024, but you know it's I know, right? It's hard to be like, this card game doesn't give me what I want. Fuck, you don't even get money from it. You get a Nintendo Switch if you spend 140 hours testing for an event that you basically comes down to 16 die rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather, when you get sacked at a regional, to sit there and sadly get into your car and drive home, or get back in the car, get back on the freeway, and everyone's like, so how'd you go? And you say, I got sacked. And you just talk about it with the guys. You know?
Yeah.
Or the girls, or, you know, whoever. Like, just the group. Like, a game like this is so inherently tied to the experiences you share and making a joke of it. And really, it has an infinite ceiling to improve. And I think the best way to do that is to get a good group of people who understand what you're trying to do and work with you.
Yeah. I think guys is an androgynous term at this point. I don't think it's boys or girls.
It is. It's true. But, like, yeah, it's the vibe I'm trying to say. You know, me and the guys. You know,
I wish more
and the
girls
gang.
played. Every time a girl comes into the card game, they're like, I'm gonna leave in like 3 months. I'm like, no!
That's its own issue. Some of the, legitimately, it's going to sound like a thing, like some of the better players that I've played against with game knowledge have been girls
Yeah.
in my life, legitimately.
Okay, to be fair, do you just see the amount of like Yu-Gi-Oh players are being like so serious into the game, you see why they would just leave?
Yeah.
Because they would just go, Alpha Drytron, some of this, I'll activate this, what's it do? It lets me draw 2.
I get
Alright.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get so much comfort in being like, okay, I lost, but I'm smart enough to know that this is a game. I think we talked about this before, but I just said it. What's the prize you get from this? Bragging
Yeah.
rights and a Switch? It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's-
Have community.
It's the entire saying of you get out of it what you put in. If you put try hard, no fun, I'm going to make this game mathematically correct, that is exactly what you'll get. And I
Nothing.
guarantee it's not going to be as fun.
Yeah, you're gonna, as I said, you're gonna put in 140 hours, and what do you get? You go home with a trophy that you could have got from a trophy store for
Kmart.
$25.
Yeah, from like Kmart or something.
And a prize card that is just another verse dragon, because they stopped printing unique prize
But
cards.
the
anymore.
prize card's like only like limited, but like yeah, it's only like what 20.
Good job, you paid for your hotel somewhat.
Cool, you paid for a plane ticket, a hotel ticket, and the regional YCS ticket, whatever you like to call it. You top, you get a playmat, a box, and a prize card that's like worth $20.
Yeah, I feel the need to jump in and say there's absolutely nothing wrong with tryharding.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with putting the effort in. And like, again, I think that there's some really interesting people that I initially wrote off because I thought that they were that kind of person, even at our locals, who end up being some of the greatest people to talk to and like some of the best resources. If you want to go out there and win, absolutely. You put the effort in, you will be rewarded. I just think sometimes people forget to enjoy it, and some people forget. Just, you know, be a little bit maybe more self-aware, a little bit more...
Yeah, it's one of the most important lessons I think all of us could learn. Never get lost in the source.
And stay humble.
Yes.
That's the big thing that I think a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players can definitely bear to remember.
Yeah.
Whenever a new Yu-Gi-Oh player like comes in, I try to be like all, not like too hype, but like try to be all positive, like be kind and like run them through how it goes, because like they always like ask me like, hey, I'm like kind of new here and I really don't know how this game works. So I'm like, okay, I'll go special this and I'll go effect to like search, send to graveyard or just summon this and all that.
I have a flat out game plan. If someone sits across from me and they're like, I have no idea, and they ask me, can you help me? I'm like, okay, cool. Pull up your chair. We have 20 minutes and I'm going to give you the complete synopsis of how everything works, and then you can tell me if you want to get in or not.
I thought you were bracing yourself for the, if they sit across from me and say they don't know what they're doing, they're going to get physically destroyed. Like, they are
Hey,
going to the Shadow
that's
Realm.
cool. I'm not going to help you. Here's my Dragoon and Eldritch deck.
Oh no, I remember that format. I walk in and DPE was very huge.
I kind of miss those days, not gonna lie. I don't think it was good for the game, but just slapping a DPE on the field from 2 monsters into Verte felt really funny. Felt really good.
You just combo off like crazy, you get Nid, cool. You make a Link Spider and summon another monster once, link it to Anaconda. Or you make Dragoon or DPE.
That is the format where I came back into this game with Verte. And like, I encountered Dragoon, and it was either I quit the game or I figure out how to deal with it, and that was my trial by fire.
I remember coming back into that format, and the first thing is I first a tier 1 deck. It was like actually one of the best decks, and I was just like, I don't know how this game works. And it was Dion too. Like he was like, okay, Dion was the person that used to work at the store as well, and was like the one who showed me around. Was like, oh yeah, these people are nice. I'm like one of the good players here, Lachlan, Connor, and all that. But anyway, and I'm like, oh, okay, they all seem pretty cool. I look up to the board and I read it completely wrong, because I'm thinking I'm like down there, but I was actually up there, because there was another Brock. I was like, oh, I'm down here. I'm like, I'm looking around. Where's my opponent?
Where am I?
I then go up to the counter. I'm like, hey, my opponent's not here. So like, what do I really do? And it's like, what's your name? I'm like, Brock. It's like, oh, you're with this person. I was like,
You're over there, you fuck knuckle.
Yeah, and I remember just going normal summon Cyber Dragon Core and passing, because I don't know how combos worked that day. And this person goes, Water Enchantress,
That's
normal
fucked.
Tom Scales, Silent Boots, and I experienced all of that. I'm just like,
Went through all the stages of grief at once.
yeah, I was just looking at
just
them.
went straight to
I
anger.
was like, I don't know what's happening. And I remember him like waiting for a response, and I'm just like,
Brother, read the room.
no, I was just like saying that. I'm like, we're just staring,
Yeah.
we're
What are
just
you
staring at
looking
each
at me
other. He goes, Water Enchantress? I'm kind of staring at him, and he goes, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, because I don't know what hand traps were.
Okay, sure. Can I say no?
That's such an interesting judge of character. Put someone who clearly doesn't know what they're doing in front of someone and see how they react. Like, I feel like that would be a very fun segment if we were allowed to have like hidden cameras or something at locals,
Yeah.
just to see it, you know.
That's a good psychopathy test. Is just to see who's the murderer in the game room.
I remember asking as well, like, so why do you like keep waiting or something? It's like, oh, there's a thing called hand traps and that. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, and then it's just like,
even though, okay, oh, this is hilarious. So I was playing the game for
Do
like.
you wanna save it for next episode when we're just telling stories?
No, this one's like very funny.
Okay.
So obviously when I first started,
He's not gonna run out of stories, Ronan. He's got a lot of them.
I have a lot of stories.
I'm gonna cut all these. Go ahead.
So we all know the Cyber Dragon deck. Well, Cyber Dark. It comes like with infinite permanence and stuff.
Yeah, the structure deck. Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing that for around 5 months at the time. I was
Oh,
still
yeah.
very bad, and I bought Ash Blossoms for the first time. Till then, they were common and they were 100 for the whole playset. So I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I remember there's one person looking through my deck and I was saying I don't have hand traps or anything. He's like, yeah, do you have infinite permanence? I'm like, what does that do?
It didn't read it.
Because I don't read the hand effect that
Yeah.
if you control no cards you can use it. I remember all my flashbacks of seeing that card in my hand. I'm just like, oh, so all those times I could have just used it.
It pays to read, folks. It pays to read.
Well, I was stupid. Still am, but
Well, I will say that just to wrap it up, that the PK Adventure Tier 1 deck back in it was just after the Sword Soul and the branded structure deck release. The thing that kept me in the game was community, because I went to 2 tournaments. It was states and there was like a regional, but they were like back to back pretty much. And I had this fully teched out $1,000 YuGiOh deck. It's ABC Adventure. ABC is the first deck I played when I got back in the game. I looked at B Bus Drake and went, hell yeah, that looks cool. And I go to these things and I suck shit. But the thing that kept me there was my friend who came with me and was just like, we're just gonna get McDonald's after. That's about it. You guys, let me know some of the stories you guys have. Please don't say that I blew snot rockets on you. That would be nice.
And potentially, if there are any spicy ones, maybe we read them on the live stream and on the podcast and just react to them live.
We are recording this, and you can see it if you're at New York City in Times Square, that we are on every Wednesday, 10 p.m. So if you see us,
all
we're on
of
there.
the monitors. It's
All
crazy.
the monitors. Look me in the eye right now. We're on all the monitors. All the monitors.